Oh, I'm sorry. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexis, and today we are going to do a story time. As you guys may know from the title, I'm going to be talking about my experience with a crazy, obsessive ex-boyfriend. So I'm going to start off from when we before we started dating up to now, because it's an ongoing thing. Like, it still hasn't ended. So it started off the second day of my 8th grade year. I noticed that there's a new kid, and if you know me, you know I talk to everybody. So if there's a new kid, I notice when it's a new kid because I've never met them before. And so I was like, oh, I wonder who he is. And my friends were like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. But they were like really nervous to go talk to him. So I went up to him and asked him like what his name was and everything. And he was being really shy. He didn't want to talk to me and everything. He apparently had already gotten a girlfriend, even though he just came to the school and it's barely the second day of school and he had a girlfriend, which should have been a red flag for me that he wasn't the best at relationships. But I kind of just brushed it aside. I was like, whatever, like, this kid is freaking delusional if he thinks that this is a for real relationship between him and this girl that have known each other for 2 days. But anyways, my friend, I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to say anybody's names in this. I'm going to use fake names just because I don't want to expose anybody. But so we're going to call her Janet. No, I want a better name. Cassandra. We're going to call her Cassandra. Okay, so my friend Cassandra thought he was super duper cute, and she told me I wasn't allowed to try to be his friend or anything because then he would end up liking me and everything. And I was like, okay, whatever, you go do you, I'm not even worried about getting a boyfriend. And so I don't know what really happened between them because she never really talked about it that much. They had planned on going to the movies. I don't know if they actually did or not, but they were texting a lot. She had posted him on her story as a shout out. And he was this quote-unquote SoundCloud rapper. Everybody thought he was so cool. He came into school acting all bad, saying, he got transferred to this school because he was suspended from his last school for stabbing a kid in the eye, and, all this stuff. He would make up so many things as to why he was at this school and, why he got suspended from his last school. And, again, that should have been another red flag that he could never keep his story straight, but also, if you know me, I tend to see the best in people, so you can lie to me so many times, and I will still sit there and be like, oh yeah, so-and-so is so sweet, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, I always see the best in people, and I always want to believe people are better than what they actually are, and sometimes that does not work out in my favor, and this story is an example of one of those times. But, so they went on and off. I don't know what happened between that, but then whenever I saw that she gave him a shout out, I was like, oh, I'll add him on Snapchat, whatever, it's not a big deal. I added him on Snapchat. He would watch my stories, as soon as I would post them, he would slide up and respond to every little thing I posted. In the beginning, I would just ignore him because if you know me, I don't really text people that much on Snapchat. But I'd ignore him, and then every now and then I would respond to him, and then I posted that my birthday was in a couple weeks. No, actually, I think I posted it was in a month. Yeah, it was exactly 1 month away from my birthday. And he had slid up and was like, oh, I'm gonna get you something for your birthday. And I was like, oh no, don't do that. And he was like, what do you like and everything. And he was so insistent to get me something for my birthday. And then a couple weeks later, he was like, it's okay if you say no, but I really want to be somebody special in your life. And I was thinking of it as friends. I was like, okay, we can be best friends. We had started texting more and I was just seeing it as friends. Again, I was not looking for a boyfriend. I was just being friendly. And so we continued to be friends, and then I think a week or two later, he posted on his story, he was like, I like this girl, but I can't tell her how I feel. And I slid up on it, and I was like, ooh, spill the tea. And he was like, no, if I tell you, it's going to ruin everything. And when he said that, I knew automatically he was talking about me, because if it was any other girl, he would have just been like, oh yeah, it's so-and-so. And so I was like, well, just tell me, it's not going to ruin anything. I wanted him to actually like admit it. I don't want to assume and then end up being wrong. So I actually wanted him to say it so that I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm crazy, you know? Anyway, so he told me and I was like, oh, it's cool, you know, it's whatever. And he was like, do you like me back? And I was like, I don't know, because honestly, in all honesty, I didn't know if I liked him back. I hadn't thought of him in that way. So in a way, I didn't like him back, but at the same time, it was like, well, I've never even considered that, so I don't know. But then we kept talking more and more, and he constantly posted pictures of me. He posted me as his 1111 all the time, posted me on Instagram, Snapchat, told everybody he had a crush on me. He even went out and bought me a ring, and like, we weren't even dating. Like, he just had a crush on me, and I kept telling people like, no, I don't really want to be with him, blah blah blah. And then I agreed to hang out with him at a park nearby, and I was like, okay, whatever, like, it's a park, it's a public place, other people are gonna be there, my dad was gonna be there, my niece was gonna be there, like, not a big deal. So we hang out and everything, and he gives me this ring. I meet his stepdad. His stepdad's like, oh, where's your parents? Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, they're, you know, right over there. And he was like, okay. And so we hang out for a little bit, and he keeps trying to, you know, make out and stuff, and he was trying to take it, like, past making out and everything, and I was just like, I was 13 at the time. I was like, no thanks. Actually, no, I think I had just turned 14, but, like, I was like, no thanks. And so we hung out for a little bit, and then I left, and, you know, he posted, like, on his Snapchat that we were dating now, even though he had never asked me out. I had never told him that I wanted to date him, but, you know, he had told everybody that we were dating, and I was like, fine, whatever, like, I'll just give him a chance. And so that's what I did. I gave him a chance, and for the first week, it was fine. You know, everything's fine. And then we got into a fight because I wasn't able to see him. I wasn't able to hang out with him, and he was very upset about that. And I, like, don't understand why he was so upset. Like, he was overreacting, all because I couldn't see him. Like, he was so mad. He was telling me that, like, he was like, I do everything for you. I went out and bought you this ring, and you can't even hang out with me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm literally not allowed to do that right now. Like, and he didn't understand that. And that should have been another red flag. The ring should have been a red flag. Like, there's so many things that should have been red flags, but weren't, because I was 14, you know. So we're dating and everything, and we keep getting into fights. And he's in DAEP, which is basically like an alternative school for kids that are like bad and, you know, can't follow the rules. They get sent there. So he had gotten sent there for forcing himself onto a younger girl, and he told everybody that the girl was lying and that she made it all up, that she forced herself onto him, and that she was just mad because he said he didn't want to do that. And which was not true at all, because they literally had him on camera at the school forcing himself onto her, and she wrote a report on him and everything, and, you know, it was a big deal. And everybody, of course, you know, is on his side. I haven't even given him a name. We're gonna give him a name. We're gonna give him the name Gerald. That's gonna be his Gerald. His name is Gerald, okay? So Gerald over here gets caught on video, you know, trying to force himself onto a younger girl, and he's still sitting here saying, like, no, she forced herself onto me, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, everybody believes Gerald, you know, because nobody knows who this little girl is, and literally, it was like, there was cameras that literally caught him doing this, so I don't understand how she would be able to lie and get him sent to DAP if, like, there was literally a video proof that backed her up on what she told the APs. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that because that's not the point of the story, but that should have been a red flag for me. Like, I should have been like, no, like, but at the time, like, I didn't really know much of the story. I just believed what he said because I didn't know who the other girl was, and then a little while later, like, I found out the whole story, and I was already dating him at the time, and I kid you not, like, he would break up with me for the dumbest things, but he would never, like, completely break up with me. Like, when I get upset, I need time to myself, you know, just to calm down and everything. And I was really upset this one day, and he kept trying to call me. He was blowing up my phone and everything, and I was like, I'm upset, like, give me time, you know, I just need time to calm down. And he got so mad that I asked for time to calm down, and he was flipping out on me, and he was like, well, if I can't be your boyfriend and be here for you, then why are we even dating, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, kid, like, whatever. And so he broke up with me, posted on a story. He was like, I'm single, girls, hit me up, blah, blah, blah. And literally a couple hours later texted me and was like, hey, I miss you, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're back together. And he would never be like, will you take me back? He'd just be like, we're back together. And so I never really had a say in, like, if we were together or not. And I'll explain more of that later on in the story, because I know you're probably thinking, like, right now, like, what are you talking about? Like, you do have a say, you could have blocked him, blah, blah, blah. But I'll get more into that later on in the story. So this keeps going on and off. He keeps breaking up with me because he gets mad at me for something, because I refuse to do something or I can't do something. I would do the littlest thing that he did not like, and it was like all hell would break loose, and he would flip out. He would literally throw a tantrum. He would post all of our problems on Snapchat, and it was so immature. And he always tried to convince me to do, like, sexual things with him, and I would never do that because I wasn't raised like that. I'm Catholic. I was raised with those type of values that, that's for marriage, that's for somebody that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So I was like, no, like, I'm not going to do that, especially not at 14. Like, are you crazy? So he would get really mad that I would tell him no to these sexual things, and he would use this ring that he bought me as an excuse. He'd be like, I bought you this ring, like, I sacrificed so much for you, and you can't do that. And so a lot of people with our relationship, you either loved it or you hated it. Like, there are some people that thought I was a gold digger and that I was just after him because he bought me a ring, which that wasn't the case at all. I didn't even want the ring. I didn't even ask for the ring. Like, I literally was only dating him because he told everybody that we were together, and I was just like, whatever, why don't I give him a chance? Trying to give this kid the freaking benefit of the doubt, even though I really shouldn't have. But I did, and now we're here. But, so this went on for a couple months. He'd get mad at me for every little thing. And then finally it came the time where his time spent in DAP was up, and he was able to come back to school, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, like, Gerald's coming back, blah, blah, blah. And they would ask me, they'd be like, are you excited, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, yeah, sure. I never showed enthusiasm. And they would always be like, oh my gosh, like, that's your boyfriend. Like, why aren't you more excited than that? And I was just like, well, what do you expect from me? Like, seriously, like, if you knew what was going on, like, you'd understand why I wasn't, like, freaking excited and all happy and everything like I get with my boyfriend now. Like, when I see him, I'm excited and everything. But, so he was only back at school for literally 2 weeks. He came back February 1st and was sent back to DAP February 14th. And this is when things got crazy. So before this, people were like, they either loved me or they hated me because of him. And because of the things he did, and they thought I was involved in it, and I wasn't. Like, he did him, I didn't me. Like, I didn't even want to be with him. Like, I tried breaking up with him so many times, and he would threaten to kill himself. He would threaten so many things. There were so many people I wasn't allowed to hang out with because he'd be like, I'm going to smash their head on a bus tire. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that to them. And, there's a lot of people that he would go into my social media. He would literally take my phone, or he would force me to, like, give him my password. And there were some times where I would give him, like, a fake password. And he would try to log in and be like, that's not your password. Like, you lied to me, blah, blah, blah. And he would flip out and get all, like, aggressive on me. And I was like, oh my gosh, kid. So he would go in and he would block literally so many people. He would text people off of my social media and be like, I hate you, stay out of my life, blah, blah, blah. And, he ruined so many friendships that I had because he was like, I don't like that person, that person, that person. Like, you can't talk to them, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you talk to them, I'm going to hurt them. And I took his threats seriously because I didn't want to risk anybody getting hurt, And so, I was like, shoot, like, I have to listen to this kid. But, so he came back from DAP, and literally people would take pictures of us 24/7. It was literally like paparazzi following us around because everybody would just follow us and take pictures of us and then send them to us on Snapchat. And it was so creepy. Like, I didn't like it, but, I went along with it because everybody else was like, oh my gosh, taking this cute picture, blah, blah. And I didn't want to be rude and be like, stop taking pictures of us. Like, it's creepy, blah, blah, blah. So I went along with it, and I pretended to like the photos, even though I hated them and I thought it was creepy. But basically, this girl, I'm going to call her Judy. So Judy said one day that Gerald had gotten in trouble in class and that he was sent out of class and he was slamming doors and everything. She sat there and said that she watched it herself. I confronted Gerald and I was like, you said you were going to stay out of trouble. You said you weren't going to go back to DAP. Like, why are you getting in trouble? Why are you being stupid? And he got really mad and messaged the girl on Snapchat and was threatening her and everything. I don't know the exact threats because I was never told anything about it. I did not know he threatened her at all. I didn't know about this until like literally 2 weeks later is when I found out about it. But apparently he had threatened her and, you know, sent pictures of the apparent guns that he owned, even though they weren't his guns, they were his stepdad's guns. But so then literally like a day or two later, this other girl, I'm gonna call her Susanna. So Susanna had said she wasn't a big fan of our relationship, and I was kind of like, well, you know, that's Susanna's problem, like, that's her opinion, she can keep that to herself, and, you know, we'll stay in our lane, she can stay in her lane, you know, nobody has to beef about it. And then Gerald over here hears about what happened, and he gets really mad, and he texts her and threatens to hurt her and everything. So then Judy and Susanna go and tell the APs what happened. They go, and I think they screenshotted the messages and showed the APs. I don't know if they screenshotted them or not, but I know they told the APs, and it was like a big deal. He was given ISS, and he had made like threats to like shoot them up and stuff. And so he was given ISS on Valentine's Day, and I think it was that same day or maybe a day after, a day before. It was around the time of the Florida shooting. I think that was on Valentine's Day, but and because of that, and because he made these threats to shoot these girls up and hurt them and everything, you know, it was like deemed terroristic threats. And so he got sent to DAP. They got the cops involved, and the cops were doing an investigation on him. And Judy, for some reason, thought I was involved in it, and that I was trying to start beef with her, even though I really, like, I didn't care. I was glad he wasn't at school anymore. Of course, I put on a fake front and was like, oh my gosh, I miss him, blah, blah, blah. But I was honestly so glad that he was gone. I was so miserable with him. Not to mention, he literally carved my last name into his arm. Literally, if you look at his arm, he has a scar that says Lopez on it, because he is so freaking crazy. I was done with him. I was completely done with him. I told him, I was like, I don't have any feelings for you. I never really had feelings for you. I tried giving you a chance, and I tried getting out of this relationship multiple times, and I'm done. I'm completely done. Don't text me, blah, blah, blah. And I blocked him on everything except text message, so I was like, he's not going to try to text me back after sending that message. And he freaking sends me a picture of his arm, and it's all cut up, and I can make out the words Lopez on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this kid literally branded my name on him. Anyways, so yeah, he literally branded my name into his arm because I told him I was done. So, of course, I stayed with him because I was like, I don't want this kid hurting himself even more than he already has. So, the cops are investigating him. Judy goes to the assistant principal, and I have absolutely no respect for this assistant principal anymore after this happened. So, people had asked me what was going on, and I told them exactly what happened. I told them the truth. I told them, actually, I didn't even tell them, like, this is exactly what happened. I told them, from what I know, blah, blah, blah. That's what I said. I was like, I never saw any messages, nothing. This is what I know. And so I started off every explanation like that, from what I know, or this is all I know. And so Judy heard that I was telling people about what happened, and she got really upset. She storms out of class one day, goes and gets the AP. The AP comes into the room and calls me out of class, and he's like, you know, Gerald was supposed to be in ISS, and instead he was roaming around the halls, and now you're over here, and you're, you know, telling people all this stuff, and people are threatening to fight Judy and everything. And I had never told anybody to fight her. If people were gonna fight her, that had nothing to do with me. That was not my problem. That was her problem. Judy had problems with a lot of people. Not my problem. And so I literally was like, first off, Judy started telling, like, everybody what happened before I did. I just explained what I knew. And then the AP was literally like, yeah, but Judy has a mouth on her, and you know that. And it's like, we're in 8th grade. We're not in 2nd grade. She can control her mouth. She can control what she said. Why does she get an excuse for blabbing her mouth, but I'm over here getting threatened to be sent to DAP, all because I explained my side? Like, no. And I literally told the AP, I was like, so she gets away with it, but not me. And he was like, well, if all these people are threatening to fight her because you told them to, like, that's considered a gang violence, and I can send you all to DAP, you know, that's automatic DAP, doesn't matter. And I was like, I'm not asking anyone to fight her. If people want to fight her, that's her own problem. And he was like, all right, just stop telling people. And I told him I would stop telling people, but I didn't stop, because it was like, if people fight her, that's on her, not me. I didn't ask them to fight her. And she had apparently told the AP that she didn't feel safe as long as I was at school. And I was like, you're like, seriously? This girl was literally bigger than my dad. And I was like, I'm not even 5 foot, and this girl was like almost 6 foot. And it was like, you're a whole foot taller than me. You're like 200 pounds heavier than me. Like, what are you talking about? You don't feel safe with me at school. Like, do you not see how tiny I am? And it was so annoying. I got called into the office so many times. The AP constantly was like, you need to keep your mouth shut. You know, I'm going to send you to DAP. And that's why I, like, lost so much respect for this AP, because He constantly threatened to send me to DAP without asking for my side of the story. He called my mom and everything without even asking me, like, did you threaten to fight her? Did you try to get other people to fight her? No. He just listened to her side of the story and just automatically threatened to send me to DAP, got me in trouble and everything with my mom, and I got my phone taken away for literally 3 months, and then I get it back for a month and get it taken away again because of Gerald. And it was so stupid. My 8th grade year was so stupid because of immature people. And so basically everybody starts hating me because I'm dating Gerald, or I was dating Gerald, and they were like, oh, you're a part of it, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't. So basically Gerald gets his phone taken away. I have my phone taken away. We are supposed to not be able to talk to each other, but I had a backup phone, and he would use one of my best friend's phones, and he would call me or try to text me and everything, and I would talk to him for like 5 minutes, and then I would, hang up or whatever, or he would hang up. And so that lasted a little bit, and then he went to his, I don't know what it's called, a hearing, I don't know, but it was to discuss his probation, if he was going to be put on probation or not. He ended up getting probation for apparently 2 years, and, there's a lot of rules with his probation, and one of the rules was he couldn't have a phone, or he couldn't have social media, one of those, but, he ended up running away because he wanted to see me so badly. And, oh, I almost forgot. When he had gotten DAP, he literally ran away from home and showed up at my house. I had never given him my address before, and he literally showed up one day when I was getting off the bus, and I was like, what the heck are you doing here? Like, seriously. And so that same day, his stepdad had came and picked him up at my house because my dad found out, and my dad was friends with his stepdad, so my dad called his stepdad, and, they caught him. They were literally chasing him around the whole freaking neighborhood, and this kid thought he could outrun a car. Like, you're stupid. But anyway, so he runs away again, breaks probation, the cops are looking for him. I'm not even in town. I was literally 8 hours away visiting my grandma, and, he literally is like, I came all the way over here for you, he's trying to blow up my Snapchat, and I'm like, 1, I don't have a phone. 2, there's no internet down here. Like, what are you doing? And so, my dad had asked me, like, are you in contact with him? Because apparently his cousin had said I was in contact with him, even though I wasn't. And that's another thing. I'll get to his cousin in a second. But literally, I was getting interrogated and being accused of, telling him to run away. And I was like, I'm literally not in town. And my dad even told his stepdad, like, we're not even in town. She doesn't even have a phone. Like, what are you talking about? And so he kept doing this. He kept running away and trying to come see me. And he would, like, bang on my window, bang on my door, and be like, let me inside, blah, 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 blah. And I let him inside, like, once or twice, because he just would not stop banging on the door, and it's like, oh my god, like, you're literally gonna freaking break my door if you don't stop. He'd literally, like, start kicking my door and everything. Freaking crazy. And, again, he would try doing sexual things, and I was just like, no, like, that's not who I am. And so he would get really mad, and he would leave and everything, and I'd be like, whatever. We got into a lot of fights, and then it got to the point where he would get physical with me, and he would physically, throw me against the wall, he would choke me, and not even, like, in that kinky way, he would literally, like, choke me and try to suffocate me with pillows. He would hit me and everything. And, of course, I fought back because if you know me, like, I'm not going to let you just sit there and hit me. Like, I literally fought him back. And I had no regret. I still don't regret fighting him. Like, that's his own problem for putting his hands on me. But, so then he got caught. He got arrested. He was in juvie for a month. He had already been in juvie for a month before this, and he went back to juvie for a month, and then he was so scared that he was going to go back to juvie, so whenever he got out the second time, he ran away because he was like, I can't go back there, he was really scared, and he stayed on the run for almost a month before they caught him, and we were not dating at this time, or I told people we weren't dating, but in his head we were dating until this other girl came along. I'm not going to say her name just because that's just whatever, but this girl came along, and so then he decides that she's his new girlfriend, and prior to this, like months before this, he had done that with another girl, but he had told her that he didn't have a girlfriend, and then the next day he told her he did have a girlfriend, and they continued to mess around and things. But at the same time, I'm over here dealing with his cousin, and his cousin's like literally asking me like what church I go to, that she's gonna pull up to my church and that she's gonna fight me and everything, and I was like, whatever, like I dare you to come and try to fight me. And then it was so stupid. Like, she'd be like, I'm always gonna be better than you because I'm white and you're Mexican. She literally went on this huge rant about how like the white is like superior to all other races, and I'm really passionate about that stuff. Like, everybody is equal when it comes to races, or they should be. And so I got really upset, and I fought back on that and was like, actually, like, get your facts straight. And so we got into a huge argument about that, and she had said I was lying about some things that I had said he did to me, and I was like, no, and I literally gave her proof for everything. I literally was like describing everything. I was giving her screenshots of everything, pictures of everything, and she was like, well, no one really knows what happened except you and him, so I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, like, now you want to back down. Now you want to sit here and apologize to me and be like, oh, I'm sorry for accusing you of this. Like, no, whatever. And so, anyways, he literally, like, kept running away and stuff. And finally, he got caught. He was in jail for about a year. I had made a report to the police officers about everything he had done to me. And, you know, they took care of it. Also, he broke into my mom and my brother's car, like, multiple times and like tried to sleep in my mom's car and then broke into my garage and slept in my garage, started a fire in my garage. Like, he was freaking stupid, he was freaking immature. But he was in jail for a year, and towards the end of his time, or no, he wasn't in jail, he was in juvie, but if you ask him, he was in jail. That's what he'll tell you. He's like, yeah, I went to hardcore jail, I didn't go to juvie, blah blah blah. But no, he was in juvie, he was not in jail. Anyways, towards the end of his time in juvie, he started calling me, and the first time he called me, I was like, why did he call me? I answer, he's, you know, trying to talk to me, trying to act like we're friends and everything. And I'm like, after everything that went down a year ago, you really think I want to talk to you? And he was like, I'm just trying to be mature about things and own up to what I did to you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, you need to own up to what you did. Because he had told everybody that, like, I was lying and I was making things up and that I was just mad because he found a new girl. And I was like, I had told people about what happened, like, before you ever found another girl. Like, I had told my close friends, like, months before you found another girl, and they can tell you, like, I literally told him, like, months before he found this new girl. But, he was like, I need to own up to what I did to you, like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I basically told him, like, I didn't want to talk to him, I didn't want him in my life and everything. And then the second time he called me, I answered it, and I made my boyfriend talk to him, or I tried to make my boyfriend talk to him, and my boyfriend was like, I'm not talking to him. So I literally had to sit there and talk to him, and I was so mad at my boyfriend for that. But he doesn't know that I was mad at him for that, but he's gonna know when he watches this video, so. But anyways, so there was a couple times after that where he would try to call me and I wouldn't answer him, because after that I was just like, no, like, I had saved the number in my phone so that I knew, like, not to answer it. It was literally, like, it said, do not answer this. And, so then he got out of jail, and he created a Snapchat, started messaging me, and I swear, one minute he's like, I'm sorry for everything I did to you, blah, blah, blah. Next minute he's like, why'd you make all that up about me? Why'd you get me arrested for that? I've been in here for a year because of what you told the cops, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're not in there because of me. You're in there because you're stupid. You make stupid decisions. You think that you're all gangster and that you're not going to get caught. Well, look at you now. And so he started calling me like crazy and everything. And I was like, look, I'm not changing my story because you're a little butthurt about it and because you're immature and that you don't want to own up to what you did. Like, if you don't want to own up to what you did, that's fine. That's you. You do you, and I'm going to do me. And so then I blocked him, and we kind of blocked each other because I know I blocked him, but then he went and told people he blocked me. So I don't know. All I know is I blocked him. So then after that, he had created an Instagram. He followed me on Instagram, started like liking all my photos, commenting on them. I blocked his Instagram, so you couldn't see the comments anymore. And I was just like, oh my gosh, because he would like message me and be like, hey, do you have old pictures of us? Do you have old pictures of me? Blah blah blah. And I was like, I literally told him, I was like, why the hell would I have old pictures of you? I don't want you in my life. And then I blocked him. And then he creates another Instagram to message me, and I blocked that one. So he creates another freaking Instagram to message me, and he's like asking me to hang out. He's asking me to FaceTime him and everything. I literally told him no. I was like, I don't want you in my life. Like, stay away from me, blah, blah, blah. And so I blocked all his Instagrams, and he showed up at my house at 2 a.m. and was literally banging on my window. I was asleep, and I hear like someone banging, and I look out my window, and it's him, and he sees me see him, and I like freaked out. I quickly closed the window. I was like freaking out, and I was panicking. I like reached for my phone, or I tried to reach for my phone, but it was like on the other side of my bed. I didn't want to get up and see, like, for him to see me like move and then be like, oh, she's awake, you know? So I laid there, and I could hear him being like, oh my gosh, get up, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he was banging on the window and everything. Finally, he left. I called my boyfriend. I told him what happened. And then in the morning when my mom woke up, which was like an hour. No, it actually wasn't an hour. It was more than an hour. It was like 3 hours later. She had woken up, and I went into her room, and I told her what happened. And she didn't believe me, like always. But she still, like, messaged the detective that was on his case and was like, yo, like, this kid is literally showing up at my house, harassing my daughter and everything. And then this what made me so mad is he would literally constantly try to like hang out with me, constantly try to message me and everything, even no matter how many times I told him like, no, I don't want you in my life. And then like literally he used my friend's phone and was like, hey, like, this is so and so, even though it wasn't that kid, you know, it was Gerald, and he was pretending to be my friend, and he started talking to me and everything, and then I realized it's not my friend, and he's like still trying to be friends with me, and I'm like, why are you talking to me like we're friends? We're not friends, we're not cool. And he was like, I'm trying to be cool with you, blah blah blah. And I was like, what makes you think that like I would want to be cool with you after everything? And he was like, I don't know, maybe I thought you would be more mature about things. And it's like, I am being mature by not cussing you out right now. Like, you don't realize how many things I'm going to say to you right now. And I was really upset. I was literally bawling my eyes out after the call. I called my boyfriend and I was like so upset. I told him everything, and it was just crazy because he would constantly come to my house, like, once he got out of jail, or juvie, my bad. I keep saying jail even though it was juvie. And he would not leave me alone literally all summer. Like, literally in the beginning of this summer, not even 3 months ago, he was banging on my window and everything. And then he got arrested because he was breaking into houses and everything. And so now he's back in jail, and I'm really hoping I never have to see his face again. I'm really hoping I never have to hear from him again. I'm really hoping he gets the hint and just stays away from me, because I do not want this kid in my life. He put me through so much, and I can't deal with him anymore. I just can't. I just want him out of my life. I don't think people really understand how stressful it was when he got out of juvie and he was trying to contact me. Like, I literally would cry all the time because I had so much anxiety. I was so scared to leave my house. I was so scared to be alone in public. Like, I did not feel safe knowing he was out of jail, and only a few people really knew, like, how freaked out I was. But now everybody knows, so yeah, that is my story about my crazy obsessive ex. I hope you enjoyed this video. I make videos every Thursday, so make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you get notified every time I make a video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and comment down below, as well as subscribe and everything, and I will see you guys next week.